what other tasks, roles, functions that you're finding are now being done remotely that traditionally would not have been?
KBR has a significant business in China and South Korea, so we were really engaged quite early in the pandemic, and as a result, really it forced us to respond early and respond efficiently. And we've seen a significant change in the way we've worked. We've found our customers very engaging. And in broad terms, I would talk in a few categories. The home office or project roles that KBR delivers have moved almost entirely to home. More than 90% of our home office staff are completing their day-to-day activities from home. We achieved that in a couple of weeks, and we stabilised the productivity inside a month. If you then talk about the actual construction workforce, you can imagine the conversations were a little more binary in that some customers stopped their projects or slowed their projects. But we have managed to migrate a significant amount of our indirect staff away from site, and we're really managing to run our sites with a much thinner back-to-back team, and really challenged now not to probably deliver, but to maintain good productivity, good safety, and a good level of enthusiasm, after people have got through the initial crisis period. I think the one other piece that I would put with that is, in the background, the digital systems have really had to step in. Our most strategic customers were a long way down that journey. Some of our customers weren't. But I would say, the power of the digital platforms, the cloud computing, the distributed technology has really enabled this just to happen in a matter of days and weeks.
An industry that has quite often been said that it's slow to adopt technology has been anything but.
Our industry has always been seen as lagging behind when it comes to adoption of technology. And I must admit, because of this, it very much feels like a fire in an already burning platform, that our sites and our productivity is suffering significantly because of COVID-19. And this has meant that we have to accelerate the way in which we adopt and deploy technology in our construction sites. We have now realized that doing so is bringing big changes and big improvements to the way in which we work on our construction sites. So it's similar to Greg, I suppose. We have been able to manage working from home. Our core offices are closed, and we're not thinking of going back until much later in the year. In a way, we're actually rethinking the use of office space. We have now learned and realized that it's a different way of doing things. So very much in this stage, Rob, where we are beginning to think about what the new normal looks like. What will Skanska look like towards the end of the year? What will the industry look like towards the end of the year? So we're building a number of scenarios and start planning towards those.
Do you think that there are a lot of rapid learnings happening at the moment from the way you've had to change your operations as well? I mean, similar to Felipe and Greg.
Yeah, very much so. And it's been amazing the amount of pace that we've been able to apply and how quickly that we've been able to adapt to sort of, a whole new way of working, moving onto our cloud-based systems. We had an initiative in place been sort of over a year now for freedom to grow, to allow people to work productively in the way that best suits them and best suits the circumstances. So similar to Greg, with over 90% plus of our people working remotely, working smarter. We're also training thousands of people to use new tools and to move from 2D to 3D. And we've been able to do that at a much quicker pace than we perhaps wouldn't have done without a sort of crisis scenario in front of us. And of course, on-site work, that has its own separate challenges that we're managing day by day, keep everybody safe.
When I spoke to you earlier this week, you were talking about some of the cloud migration that Alec did last year to support remote working. So what did you do, and what sort of learnings are you finding, and how did they help you prepare for the current situation?
For Alec, it was quite fortunate and to adopt the cloud journey relatively early. We have successfully migrated all our data center and infrastructure to the cloud last year. Okay, and in addition to that, we were able to accommodate the situation to support remote working and business continuity relatively easy to other companies. Because as an example, if I can give you the pandemic situation, once it came to disrupt the transportation and the global supply chain, we were still able to scale our IT infrastructure relatively very easy using the cloud. And we were also, although we were using digital technologies before, like Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive, but we were lacking the slow user adoption in terms of using these technologies. What we have found during this situation that it was quite advanced for us that user adoption were picking up, and we were like enabling a seamless migration to support remote users. We have enabled virtual desktops for all our employees using different kind of virtual desktops in the cloud, and in addition to Microsoft Direct Access in order to enable secure connection to their documents and data as if they are working directly from their offices. And this is what supported the pandemic situation during this stage and supported remote working for all our employees during this situation.
Were there kind of cultural challenges to overcome to encourage people to really start embracing this?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Rob, we were like struggling to have a user adoption before this situation. This situation helped us a lot in order to adopt these collaborative tools. And the mind shift has totally changed during this situation. There was a force for everyone to use this collaborative tool in order to engage with other employees and the clients and subcontractors. So there was a huge need, and the training that has been done virtually provided its benefit. And the spike in utilization that we have seen is quite very well as compared prior to this situation.
Aref, I know that you're looking at technologies such as sensors in helmets. So you're looking at how you could use these for site safety, how you can look at how you can use them for contact tracking. Could you give us some insight there?
When it comes to IoT workforce, which this falls under, and we're also experimenting other technology like bracelets, like facial recognition, etc. The objective was never related to COVID-19 because it started before COVID-19. It really started as first and foremost for safety, to improve the safety. We want to bring everybody back home safe. Of course, we use it as well for to improve attendance, and we're trying to link it to our back-end project controls application to improve activity, etc. But you know very well, big data, the beauty of big data, you store data for one thing, you use it for another thing. So now we have the data, okay, on few sites, luckily. So the challenge now, and what I'm trying to you, how can you use this data for social distancing, for contact tracking, etc., in order to protect the livelihood of our employees, yet maintaining our operation and delivering what's expected from us to our clients as far as project and construction, but definitely, Rob, at a very high cost at our end.